UFC 321 was a very underwhelming fight card. It was a little bit disappointing that we spent $80 in the middle of the day to end up with an eye poke in the main event, 2 weird decisions, and finally, a pretty good fight and a knockout. Overall, UFC 321 wasn't what we all thought it would be, but there were some highlights. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to recap and react to every single fight from UFC 321. Before we talk about the fights, let's talk about the bets. Overall, hot mess express. We have been on a wild streak. Jacob specifically has been riding a success train right down the middle. And that train came to a screeching halt when we had canceled fights, when we had adjusted odds, when we had bad decisions, and when we had an eye poke in the main event. Here is every bet that we placed. There's obviously more white than green. Couple of highlights, the Nathaniel Wood fight. We had the Valter Walker heel hook. Outside of that, we had a lot of chaos. You can go ahead and pause and dig into those bets if you'd like. If you do want to check out every pick, every bet, every tool, and every breakdown that we have right now on the website, you can do so now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. UFC 321 is behind us, and we have to look forward to UFC 322, which is objectively, at least on paper, the best event of this year. If you want to check out every bet that we have, every tool that we have, and every single thing that we offer for all 4 of these fights, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's $10. $10. I ate a Big Mac earlier. That was $12. $10. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. UFC 322 is around the corner. Right after that, UFC Qatar. Let's go ahead and talk about these fights. We opened it up with a mess. We should have known after the first fight, this card's going to be a mess. We should have known immediately this is going to be a mess. Jaqueline Amorim was a, 4-1 favorite come fight night? And she looked like it early. Right? She got a beautiful takedown. Like, yep, that's exactly what we thought was going to happen. And then she sucked. To be submission or bust at this level is actually kind of nuts. If we zoom out and realize what this actually is, it's crazy. The UFC is the pinnacle of fist fighting. These are the best fist fighters on planet Earth. That's like saying the NFL is the best football on planet Earth, or MLB is the best baseball, although there are some pretty solid Japanese teams out there, the best baseball on planet Earth. That's what the UFC is. These are the best athletes in the world, the best people at this individual thing, which happens to be fist fighting, in one organization under one umbrella. And then we get women like Jaqueline Amorim who either submit you immediately or get their faces bashed in. And it's crazy to be that one-dimensional at this level. And listen, I knew what I was getting myself into when I placed a bet on Jaqueline Amorim. We knew, like, all right, she's not amazing, but she's got decent power in her hands. She's pretty tough, and she can submit you. And the cherry on top was that she's got a nice double leg takedown. And we saw that early. But then when it didn't work, it all came unglued. My biggest issue here is not that she didn't win. People lose. Every fighter will lose. Khabib retired undefeated, but no, he didn't because he lost to Gleison Tebow. That was a bad decision. Every fighter loses. John Jones has an actual loss on his record, which shouldn't be, but then he's got a couple of wins that also shouldn't be. There is not an all-time type fighter that retires undefeated. There just isn't. So I'm not upset that Jaqueline lost. I am upset that at this level, the pinnacle of this sport, amongst the greatest fighters the planet has to offer, she is just rolling around laying on her back. These are fist fights, not jiu-jitsu matches. This started with a beautiful takedown, great control on top, very clearly the better grappler. And then she was perfectly fine rolling to her back, faking knee bar bullshit. And what did it get her? Punched in the mouth over and over and over. Then the second round came and she couldn't believe she was there. The third round was there and she was just a mess. That's my issue. My issue is when fighters lose for the things that they can control. If you lost because your opponent is better, faster, stronger, like that is what it is, right? There's always somebody better. But if you lose because your fight IQ is dog shit or your cardio is not there, that's on you. Those are the two things you can control. The only things you can control are the decisions you make and the preparation you do. And if your preparation wasn't good enough to not be exhausted at the end of the only job you have, that's a problem. And if all of your training leads you down a path where you think it's okay to lay on your back and throw up Hail Mary submissions, that's a problem. So that's my issue with Jaqueline Amorim. My issue with Jaqueline Amorim isn't that she lost. The issue is how she lost. Being that comfortable off of her back. being so willing to roll to her back, not having the cardio to just grit it through or at least try. We have seen a lot of fighters get the shit kicked out of them, Mateusz, Rebecki, but never quit. You will never see somebody mad at a Mateusz Rebecki loss. They might get mad at the judges if they disagree with the decision, but nobody will ever watch a Mateusz Ronbetsky, which how the hell those letters make that is crazy. You'll never see somebody mad at that, right? They'll never be like, you are a problem. You suck. Why'd you? No, because he goes out there, he fights his ass off, and the things that he can control, he controls well. He's got great cardio. He never quits. And honestly, his fight IQ is pretty good. And then you get Jaqueline Amorim. So I'm done railroading her. Mizuki Inoue looked great. She looked great. She weathered an early storm. She was clearly well prepared. She made the correct decisions. She engaged when she was supposed to. And she made sure that every opportunity she had, she was striking. So that Jaqueline could never get comfortable. Congrats to Mizuki. I'm filming this immediately following the event, so I don't know who got bonuses and who didn't get bonuses. And I'm not saying she should get a bonus, but in a card like this, as a 350 underdog, it wouldn't be the worst bonus they've ever given out. Then the second fight of the night was another wild underdog. But this was a little different because I can't railroad Azat. What did Azat do wrong? Other than showing up overweight, what did Azat do wrong? And now that is a problem because leading up to this week, my whole breakdown and everything I said was he's crazy on his feet. He's got tons of cardio. He took Tagir to hell and back, and his wrestling is next level. This guy has an engine, and he will just keep moving. And then he shows up overweight. And that's a problem because in the fight, he did not look himself. The wrestling was obviously there. Here's a suplex that he got. And he had more than one suplex in this fight. But what he didn't do was let his hands go. He was very tentative on his feet. And when you compare the performance on the feet from this fight to his previous fights, he's like a different person. So I don't know what the hell happened in fight camp that he showed up overweight. And then when he was there, he didn't let his hands go. And unfortunately, we'll never know. But overall, this was a good scrap. Both of these guys came to fight. Azat Maksum, at this point, 3 losses in a row is a problem. The first 2 were justifiable. Went to hell and back with Tagir. Got 3 of his own takedowns, defended Tagir's takedowns. Then we had the Charles Johnson. He almost finished Charles. Got a little tired chasing that finish. Losing to Mitch Raposo is a problem. And not because Mitch sucks, because we just saw Mitch doesn't suck, but it's a problem when it's your 3rd loss in a row, and that's his first UFC win. He also had 2 losses. What won Mitch this fight was the feet. Moving forward, letting his hands go, not being afraid to engage, throwing as hard as he could, getting in Azat's face. That's what won him this fight. He was taken down, he worked back up. He was taken down, he worked back up. This was the first indication that these judges don't care about wrestling. I am curious what you guys think because listen, I've done enough of these breakdowns to know how this goes. I am going to say I disagree with the Jailton Almeida decision, and then everybody in the world is going to be like, that's not how it works. Control time means nothing. Nobody cares about control time anymore. I get it. You're the vocal ones. If you're a normal watching this, right? You're a normal. You watch the videos. You don't normally comment. If you're a normal person who, when you do comment, it's sensible. It's not one extreme or the other, whether you agree or disagree. If you're a normal, how do you feel about wrestling and MMA? All right, we'll have a deeper discussion about this when we get to the Jailton Almeida fight because that is really where I have a fundamental issue. But this was an indication that might be coming because Azat had a lot of takedowns. He had some good control. It wasn't, this wasn't a ridiculous decision. I was surprised it was unanimous. But I don't entirely disagree, but I am surprised this was a unanimous decision. This should have been a split. And if you gave it to Azat, I don't know who's complaining. So I am surprised we had unanimous the other way, but ultimately, it's because Mitch moved forward. Mitch threw his hands around. Mitch wasn't afraid to engage on the feet, and these judges did not care about wrestling. Then we had, look at this picture. Look at Chris Barnett's gut hanging over the shorts in the middle. Look at that. Jesus Christ. These are the best fist fighters on planet Earth. This is the pinnacle of fist fighting in this world, in the entire world. How many people are in the world? 1 trillion? What is it? 200 billion, and 190 billion of them are in China and India. In the entire world, the hundreds of billions of people, these are the elite few best fighters on the planet. The fat guy and then the other fat guy. The difference with this fight than previous fights of either one of these fat gentlemen is that Hamdy Abdelwahab actually wrestled in this fight. He actually wrestled. This guy's an Olympic wrestler who we had not seen wrestle previously, who we had seen get ridiculously tired. He came forward, he got his takedowns, he ran across the cage, he earned this win. There is nothing that you could, twist or turn to make it seem. Chris Barnett had nothing to offer defensively. Now he did, for a dude built like a melted refrigerator, get back to his feet pretty often. I mean, he popped up. You can see here, he's throwing in a whizzer, widening his base, trying to get back up. Hamdy was just doing a good job. You can see he's scooping that leg. He was doing a good job keeping the foot away so he couldn't quite build his base. The reality is Chris gave it a good old-fashioned college try, but he's 39 years old, couldn't defend a takedown, a little too heavy in the front. And Hamdy actually got a decisive win here, but where the hell was this? Where was this in your last fight when it was just a staring contest? So I don't know what we do with Hamdy. I mean, you beat a 39-year-old who hasn't fought in a year, and half these takedowns were just bum rushes across the cage. Neither one of these guys are very good. They probably got to cut Chris at this point, or keep him on the roster, and you just have to give him kind of striking-only matchups where he can do what he does, because the whole appeal for Chris Barnett is that, given his physical abilities, he is wildly underestimated. This guy can do backflips and jumps and swirls, and he's insanely athletic for a dude built like a garbage bag full of grapefruits. I mean, he can do whatever he wants to do. So if you're going to keep him on the roster, which at this point at 39, who cares? If you're going to keep him on the roster, strikers only, and just let him do his flips and swirls and see what you can get out of him. Hamdy, I don't know. Do you guys think Hamdy's actually good, or did he just get a win over a fat dude that can't defend takedowns? I don't care what you do with Hamdy. Not a fan. Guy failed the drug test. Fuck him. Then we had what was fight of the night. The fights are over. The event is done. I think this is fight of the night. You could say Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. I think this was fight of the night. These guys got after it. Jose Delgado almost knocked out Nathaniel Wood in the first 30 seconds of this fight. I had a bet on Nathaniel Wood. I picked Nathaniel Wood. So when he almost got knocked out and his face was leaking early, that was a problem. And the way it happened was, here's a head kick. When that foot landed, there was a spinning back fist behind it that cracked him, and then he fell down, and then he got pounded on. The exchange was insane. Jose Delgado's offense is insane. He lost this fight. I agreed with the decision. I agree he lost this fight. But this caption says, holy shit, is he good? And that is all to praise how good Jose Delgado is. He is so offensively diverse. It is crazy. He's throwing forward elbows. He's throwing side elbows. He's throwing knees in the clinch. He's spinning. He's throwing head kicks. He's throwing leg kicks. He's got clean combination. This guy's killer instincts are through the roof. Jose Delgado is going to be a big deal. The only concern I have for him is he does get hit. He does get hit. Nathaniel Wood hit him a bunch. And he's fine. He's young. He's fine. But eventually he might not be. Nathaniel Wood had him rocked. I don't know if he officially got a knockdown out of it, but he had him rocked. This was an absolute war. Jose Delgado is good. Insanely good. And this fight proved that. Because knocking a bunch of people out in 30 seconds doesn't really prove anything other than you've got early power. Doing this for 15 minutes, even though it's a loss, I don't care that he lost. I said earlier, the only time you get mad at a fighter for losing is if they lost because of things they can control. If you lost because you made dumbass decisions. If you lost because you didn't have the cardio to keep pushing. Jose Delgado had the cardio, made zero bad decisions. He just fought an insanely tough UFC veteran that was able to sneak in a takedown, was able to move forward with heavy pressure and get one out. Jose Delgado is freaking good, and I know he lost. He should definitely get a fight of the night bonus, and he should not hang his head. Nathaniel Wood, way tougher than I thought. I knew he was tough. I picked him. I bet on him. I knew he was tough, but holy shit, is he tough. The fact that he was not finished in the first round, the fact that he knew when he needed to start moving. All right, this ref's going to call it. I better move, move, up. The fact that he was able to recompose himself after that is insane. Nathaniel Wood is good. He had to change his nickname from the prospect because he's in his 30s now. And he looks it. He looks like a very talented young kid that has evolved, and he got blasted early and he survived, and there was some veteran savvy in there, and then he started to take over. He won this fight because of the forward pressure. It was the relentless forward pressure. The moving forward is what won him this fight. There was a couple of well-timed takedowns, but on the ground, he worked. So it wasn't the stalling type takedowns that Jailton had. Nathaniel Wood is very good. I think the difference in the judges' eyes was just literally the forward pressure. First round obviously went to Delgado. Nathaniel Wood survived. Next 2 rounds, lots of forward pressure, stayed in his face, had his own knockdown. This was a spectacular fight. Jose Delgado deserves all the credit in the world for a loss like this. Nathaniel Wood deserves all the credit in the world for a win like this. Now this, I sarcastically said these are the best fighters in the world. When we talked about Hamdy's fat ass and Chris Barnett, when we talked about Jaqueline Amorim just rolling on her back, begging for the fight to be over. But these were a visualization of what some of the best fighters in the world could look like. Tough as shit, tons of skills, never quit. Great fight, absolutely loved it. Then we had the 4th heel hook victory in a row for Valter Walker. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this point. When everybody said Valter Walker by heel hook, it was like, okay, guys, it can't happen again. Like, you got to chill. And it's like, well, Louie's built like a fucking, look at him. He's just a square. The dude is just literally, just draw a square and then 2 little lines and some fingers. Boom. That's him. That's his physical shape. He's a fucking square. And I was like, this could be a little interesting. It wasn't. Valter struck for a little bit, right? We had some bouncing on the toes. We had a little more striking than we usually get out of him. Then as he came rushing in, Louie lands a massive overhand right, a massive one that cracked Valter clean. But Valter lowered his level, scooped up the double, immediately starts tying up those legs, and he was on top. And it was sitcom timing where Laura Sanko said, are you going to get worried that he's going to get a little too heel hook happy? And then DC was like, yeah, that could definitely, boom. Then he falls back, jumps heel hook, gets it. It's insane. It's insane. Like, there are specialists out there. Any of you that have been here for a long time and you watched Ronda Rousey's rise to fame, she was an armbar specialist. She armbarred everybody. It was insane. It was insane what she was doing. This is more impressive than that for 2 reasons. 1, heel hooks are objectively harder to get than arm bars. Period. It's harder to get a heel hook than an arm bar. Period. I don't care. Well, I train and they shut the fuck up. Shut up. I've been training for 25 years. Heel hooks are harder to get than arm bars. You can get arm bars in 90 different positions. You're getting heel hooks in 1 position and you are putting yourself in harm's way to get there. So if you feel otherwise, you're just wrong. Okay? Take the L, move on. You don't need to comment it. Not everything you think has to end up on the internet. 2, Valter Walker is doing this in an era where everybody knows how to fight. Ronda Rousey did this in an era where women were just starting to fight. Ronda Rousey was an Olympic medalist in judo. So she would throw everybody and then armbar them. Arm bars are part of judo. So she was an Olympic medalist at doing that. Valter Walker's just some fucking half Dagestani that is ripping people to the ground and doing it. Him getting 4 heel hooks in a row at heavyweight in 2025 is the most impressive single submission streak I've ever seen in my life. Who is a better, and I could be wrong, I might be missing one, okay? Just like when we get to Tom Aspinall, I said, I don't love the father-son coach dynamic, and somebody said, Khabib was coached by his father. Great example. Great pushback to the big man. I would love to hear a better example, or not example's not the word. I would love to hear who had a better specialist submission than Valter Walker's heel hook. Who? It's crazy what this guy is doing. I don't know what they do next with him, but what I would want to happen if I'm the matchmaker, any of you who watched WCW back in the day and we had Goldberg, and I don't know what his record was. One of you might know. It was like a 175-0, 175 match win streak. He's never lost. Do that with Valter. Let's just keep giving him people whose heels he can fucking rip off their body. And let's just turn him into like some freaking heel hook superstar merchant. Don't rush him to the top 10. Who cares how bad this weight class is right now? Let him keep doing this. Because this was great. And I'll watch more of this. He did it. I was like, oh my God. My wife was behind me. She's putting on makeup. We're getting ready to go to my daughter's volleyball game. And I'm just like, holy shit. And she's like, what? It was crazy. It was crazy. So at this point, we're like, oh, this card's going to be good. And then we had this fight. And like, shit, this card is going to be good. I could show you this picture, right? I could blur out the person's head on top. And you would know it was a Mateusz Rebecki fight. You would know. There's this much blood. Of course it's a Mateusz Rebecki fight. Anytime there's this much blood, it's a Mateusz Rebecki fight. That guy bleeds so bad. It's crazy. Just hang a fully alive deer from a hook in your garage, slit its throat. That's how bad Mateusz Rebecki bleeds. It's crazy. It is crazy how much this guy fucking bleeds. So what you're looking at here is the third round. By the third round, Mateusz Rebecki's face was hamburger meat. There was blood everywhere. And Ludovit Klein is on his back, and we're all wondering what the hell is going on. And he's about to be finished. We're like, oh my God, he's going to get finished. And now let's rewind. There's your teaser. We're going to go backwards. 10 minutes earlier. 10 minutes earlier, Ludovit Klein was piecing up Mateusz Rebecki. He was the better striker, and it was evident. It was fast. It was clean. It was technical. He was just doing whatever he wanted to. Landing kicks, landing punches. Like, he was literally doing whatever he wanted to. The occasional takedown attempt from Rebecki, and Ludovit defended most, right? A little bit snuck in a takedown, got back up, no big deal. For the most part, Ludovit was just piecing him up at distance. Rebecki is tough as nails, not a quitter. The guy's an absolute dog, so he would just march forward, bomb away, would have some success bombing away and marching forward. It was a Mateusz Rebecki fight. And then, mysteriously, in the third round, Mateusz Rebecki gets a takedown. That wasn't the mysterious part. The mysterious part is Ludovit didn't do that much. It almost looked like he death gassed. He's just kind of laying there, taking a beating, eating massive elbows. At one point, he was crucifixed, and then he squirmed his way out of it. Only to find out, so the round, he survives. We all think he's about to get finished. We all, as me, the announcers, and a lot of you, felt like Ludovit was about to get finished. We're like, what the fuck? This guy he has a quit button? We didn't know he has a quit button. We hadn't seen that before. Turns out, this dude's ankle snapped in half. His ankle was broke clean in half, and it happened off an exchange. That's how he ended up on the ground. That's why he was just laying flat instead of trying to work his way up. This dude accepted his win sitting on the stool. He's sitting on the stool with his leg out, his ankle facing in 12 different directions. And they're like, how do you feel about this win? He's like, it was a good win. I thought that... He's not French. Why the fuck? I thought I did win this. He's not Brazilian either. I don't know what that accent was, but he was happy for his win. Told us that his ankle was snapped in 17 pieces. And the dude took the win. Like, his voice wasn't quivering. He wasn't... It was... The toughness from these two people, incredible work. Incredible work. Then you have Jaqueline Amorim in the card opener who's laying here like Mateusz is laying here. Ankles are fine. She just fucking sucks. It's crazy. Rebecki took an absolute beating, never quit on himself, came forward, put himself in a position to win, and did everything possible to try to win. It wasn't his night. It didn't go his way. And there's not a person on this planet that could be mad at him. If you are one of the people that are like tweeting at him angrily because you bet on him and that bet missed, or you're shooting him weird DMs, that's insane. Save that for Tom Aspinall. We'll argue if he quit or not at the end. Save that for fucking RDR. He can control not getting off that stool. Rebecki did everything in his power to win this fight. He did everything. He just wasn't the better fighter, and that is going to happen. None of us, not me, not you, none of us are the best at something in this world. None of us. So Mateusz Rebecki is not the best fighter in the world. But he has more heart than 99% of people, more than 99.999% of people in this world. He shows it every time he goes out there. Great performance by him. Unbelievable performance by Ludovit Klein that he was able to piece this man apart, not get frustrated, not have issues with the pressure and the chaotic strikes and the takedowns. And then, unbeknownst to us, was able to survive with his ankle snapped in half on bottom. Great job. They should get performance bonuses. I'm handing out performance bonuses. Then we had this fight. This fight kind of sucked. Couple of takeaways. One, I said all week, Ikram is a wrestler. I said it all week. Ikram's a wrestler. All right, you got to do your research. You watch the fights. He's a wrestler. We hadn't seen it in the UFC because he knocked a bunch of people out and then he got knocked out. But he's a wrestler. In this fight, he wrestled. Jacob talked about coming in this fight. He was concerned. What happens if this fight goes long? We've never seen him go. It's been over a year since this guy has been out of the first round. And we saw. What happens is he gets a little he starts moving like a inflatable outside of a car wash. He's a little unbalanced. Khabib in his corner said, if you show him you're tired, he is going to finish you, which is a wild thing to say. He's not wrong. It's a wild thing to say, though. That basically is like, I know you're a pussy. You know you're a pussy. Do not show him that you're a pussy, because if he finds out you're a pussy, he'll finish you. And then the world will know you're a pussy. That is literally what that means. That is what that means, because what kind of fucking crazy shit is that to say? Hey, if he sees that you're tired, he's going to finish you. Saying he's going to finish you is like, I know you can be finished and you know you can be finished. So stop pussing it up, pussy. And he got a couple of well-timed takedowns and was able to survive and get it done. And it really wasn't that close. Like, this wasn't a fight where it's like, oh, Ikram might lose. Ikram won this fight. It was clear as day he won this fight. Like, it was very obvious he won this fight. But he was getting tired. We all know Iron Turtle is not a quitter. He's got great cardio. He'll keep moving forward. But he's not that good. He's not that good. Listen, I had a lot of good reads on this card. I had a couple of bad reads. This was one of the better reads because the breakdown was Jun Young Park is not that good. Everybody just loves him because he is tough. He won't quit. But he's not good. He doesn't have a good win. Show me a single good win in his record. He beat a bunch of people who are no longer employed by the UFC. Ikram's actually a good fighter, and everybody wanted to scream, oh, he got knocked out by Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker's a former world champion, and that was on the other side of planet Earth. He went from Russia to Vegas to Abu Dhabi, had to cut weight multiple times. There was just a lot going on there. So Ikram got the win. I thought Ikram looked pretty good. I'm glad we got to see some wrestling out of him. I'm glad we got to see 15 minutes out of him, because it's hard to break down these fighters that just run through people. Tom Aspinall. Look what happened in the Tom Aspinall fight when it didn't end in 2 minutes. Ikram looked good to me. Iron Turtle, he's just going to be at this place for the rest of his career. Win a couple, lose. Win a couple, lose. He'll never be a top 10 guy. He'll never be a top 15 guy, but he will be a guy that you know you're going to get a good performance out of. You know you're going to get somebody who will show up. He will be on weight. He'll be ready to go, and he'll leave it all out there. He's another perfect example of like, not that good, but fights his ass off and controls the things that he can control. He's always well prepared. He's always in an actual fist fight. Ikram has to clean some shit up. He has got to clean some shit up. This is a tough weight class. This weight class is the toughest it has ever been. He needs to work on that cardio. Brendan Allen would break Ikram. I think RDR will beat him too. And we just saw he's a quitter. Anthony Hernandez would break him. Kyle Barala would beat him. Sean Strickland did. We need to see more. I need to see better cardio out of Ikram Aliskerov. I just need it. Now, the fact that he started training with Khabib, I don't know if he was always training with Khabib or is relatively new. The fact that we haven't seen a ton of cardio out of him outside of this fight, we need to see it, work on it, because he's not going to beat any of those really good top 10 guys. Then we had the first poor lock of the week. The first death we've ever seen. This is an unbelievable picture. This picture is astonishing. If you are listening on Spotify and not watching, this is a picture of Quillan Salkilld standing there and completely unconscious, stiff as a board, but halfway down his fall is Nasrat Haqparast. In the air, stiff as a board. It almost looks photoshopped. This was crazy. First of all, lock of the week did lose. Jacob hit 4 in a row. And there's nothing, death, taxes, people hating as soon as you miss a pick. Those are the 3 things you can count on in this life. Death, taxes, commented hate after missing a pick. Jacob hit 4 lock of weeks in a row and was a genius. And that was the energy. He's a genius. Jacob's a genius. I can't believe it. We all thought that Jordan Santos was going to lose. We all thought 4 in a row is crazy. Then he picks Nasrat. Good dog to pick. And early looked good. Nasrat gets knocked out bad. The comments. I faded you. I knew it. You suck. You always suck. It's like, Jesus Christ. This crazy. What a crazy way to live. And I know some of it's in good fun, right? Some of it's like, you stink. Gotcha. Ball busting. But a lot of it is just people that have been stewing. The last month have been wildly unhappy that Jacob has been winning and hitting his underdog lock of the week. So there was nothing to hate on. And then it missed, and you got that release. That full, you soaked your sheets with that release. The reality is this was a bad knockout. This was one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen, and it was getting concerning. So if you didn't see what happened, basically the fight was pretty even. 2 minutes in, it's kind of back and forth. Nasruddin stuffed a real shitty takedown from Salkilld. Nasruddin seemed to be landing cleaner. It felt like, we were halfway through the first round, so this is no real indication, but it felt like, all right, Nasruddin's looking good. Nasruddin can win this fight. He stuffed the takedown, a bad takedown. He got stuffed instantly. He seemed to be landing clean. He seemed to be doing what he wanted to do. We know Nasruddin's a dog. And then out of nowhere, a wild head kick. And just thunk. It knocked Nasruddin out instantly. As soon as that leg connected with the head, he was out. So he fell from full vertical stance to the ground, unconscious the entire way. And his head slammed into the ground. And he was like face first, laid down, unconscious for a while. Like 5 minutes. A very, very long time. To the point where the broadcast was making sure that all the cameras were facing this way and not that way. And they were showing Quillan, and they were showing the commentating. They were showing everything other than what was happening on the other side of the cage. And then like 3, 4, 5 minutes later, at least that's what it felt like, all of a sudden, Lorisenko says, he's still unconscious. They're still working on him. And I was like, oh my God, this is a very long time for them to still be working on him. Holy shit, he's still unconscious. Then finally, like, all right, he's his eyes are open. He's talking to his coach. So I hope he's okay. None of us want this for any of them. These guys go out there, risk their lives for a little bit of money and a little bit of fame for our sake. We're here to watch fights, and you don't want any of these fighters. There's a couple of them you want to get fucked up. You don't want these fighters to have any real issues. So I'm glad he's okay. And holy shit, was that a crazy knockout. So a couple of takeaways. One, I thought Nasruddin had a great chin, and maybe he does, but it's definitely never going to be the same. It's definitely never going to be the same. This is the knockout that changes the course of your career. The other half of that, Quillan Salkilld. Dude's good. Dude's good. He is a spammy wrestler with kind of shitty takedowns, but the striking looked good in this fight. At least that kick looked good. He definitely lost a couple of exchanges, was a little slower on some of the exchanges, but he started to figure out the range, and he started to stay on the outside, try to stay long. Then he landed that kick. This kick was very reminiscent of, we'll find out how good of an MMA fan you actually are. People love saying the word casual. First of all, to me, casual is not an insult. That just means somebody has a fucking life. I don't understand how that's an insult. Casual, you did something other than watch every fight in the history of time and memorize everything ever. Casual, weird. Second of all, most of you, and this is no slight to you, have been watching fights for the last 5 years, maybe 6, maybe 7. I've been watching this shit since day one. Literally, day one. 1993, on my cousin's descrambler at my house in Queens, New York. And then many years after that, the sport was regulated. It was a little more normal. It wasn't barbaric. There weren't nut shots. Anyway, this knockout, Quillan's knockout of Nasruddin Haqparast, reminded me of the way that Georges St. Pierre knocked out Matt Hughes. Because what Georges St. Pierre did in that fight, this was the rematch. First time he got armbarred. Second time, he knocked him out, won the belt. What he did in that fight that was spectacular is he kicked the leg. Kicked the leg, kicked the leg, went to go kick the leg. Matt Hughes brings his arm down. Whoop, psych pussy. Kicked him in the head, knocked him out. This was like that. There's a couple of leg kicks. It wasn't quite the same type leg, head exchange, but it was very reminiscent of that. Great win. Hopefully Nasruddin's okay. Then we had our first main card fight. The only finish on the main card. We had a knockout. Azat Mirzakhanov knocked out Alexander Rakic, and this was some of the best value on this card. This was basically an even fight. This was a pick'em. It was like minus 115. And then a tweet went viral. I don't know if you guys know how Twitter works. People just say wild shit, and then some things go viral. Somebody tweeted their weigh-in picture where, what the hell's his name? Rakic was just towering over Mirzakhanov. Just towering over him. Like, it was almost like last week's Azamat Bakoyev and Yorzi Belagori. It was almost like that, like just a fucking foot and a half of height difference. He was just towering over him at the weigh-in. And somebody sent that, tweeted that, and said, even odds, by the way, and it went viral. And all the comments like, oh my God, I cancel my bets? What should I do? Because of a fucking height difference. What are we, crazy? This was the best value on the card. Bakoyev, fucking, that guy blew it. Mirzakhanov came in here, landed clean, and knocked out a chinny Rakic. And that's kind of what we thought would happen. I didn't have the nuts to bet on him because I did have some fear that we would get Alexander Rakic dancing around the outside, touch go, not fully committing, staying on the outside, not going inside the pocket, and just dancing around and just point fighting his way to a win. There was some concerns there. But what we got was Mirzakhanov moving forward, landing clean. We've seen Rakic knocked out cold. We've seen it. Mirzakhanov came in, knocked him out cold. What's funny is Magomed Ankalaev earned his title shot against Alex Pereira by beating Rakic in a decision. Mirzakhanov came in here and knocked his head off his body. Crazy world. Crazy. Rakic has to be, it's 4 losses in a row. You got to cut him at this point. I mean, they might not because this division is unbelievably weak right now. This is the weakest division in the UFC. Heavyweight division's right there as well, especially with Jailton losing. This is a pretty bad couple of divisions. So Rakic is probably going to stick around, but he should be cut. That's 4 losses in a row. 2 of them bad knockout. Doesn't fight very often. It is what it is. Mirzakhanov at this point. Let's find out, man. Let's find out how good you are or you're not. 16-0. He has knockdowns in every single UFC fight, knockouts in all of them but one. Let's see how good he is. Then we had Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Volkov. All right. Listen, a lot of you are going to not agree, right? I know how this goes. I have done enough of these breakdowns to know what you guys are going to say and how you're going to say it. It's not very hard to figure out. I'm going to say, I think Jailton Almeida won this fight. And you're going to say, that's not how fights are scored. That's not it. No, it's damage. It's damage. And I get that he was on his back for fucking 14 minutes, but he landed a couple elbows. And yeah, the ref said those are illegal elbows, but he landed a couple elbows. He did it. There we go. There's our exchange between me and you. I think he wins. 1-1, bitch, mom. Where's the meatloaf? That was you. Here's the reality of this fight. I do think Jailton Almeida won this fight. If you want to give the first round to Volkov, give the first round to Volkov. That's the only round that I thought was up in the air. The only round. Because Jailton got an easy fucking takedown. Easy as shit. And it was mostly control. He didn't do any real damage. It was mostly control. Halfway through the round, he sat on his hip for some dumb fucking reason. And he got I'm not going to say he got swept because he never fully got swept, but he got sort of rotated sideways. Then he was teasing a knee bar, and in a couple of exchanges, Volkov landed a couple of strikes. If you want to give it to Volkov for like scooting his hips out and kind of sweeping and landing a couple of elbows, then go for it. Fine. Give him the first round. The second round and the third round were Jailton. Second round was all Jailton. That wasn't even up for debate. Third, I felt was similar. This guy was taking down Volkov at will. Taking him down at will. And I understand that after he took him down, he wasn't Donkey Kong trying to knock him out. I understand that he wasn't doing Jaqueline Amorim bullshit, hunting for submissions that are under there. But he still controlled exactly where this fight went. He took it there on his terms, and he did anything he wanted to. He did anything he wanted to. The ref stood him up. And he said, I don't give a fuck what you think. Shot another takedown. Took Volkov right there. That happened 2 separate occasions. The ref was like, all right, let's think about this, okay? For anybody saying Volkov won this fight, let's think about what's happening. The referee said, Jailton, you are dominating so well that Volkov can't do anything. You are in such a dominant position. Volkov can do nothing. So I'm going to stand you up and reset this whole thing. That's what happened. And then after they stood him up and reset it, what do you think happened? I'll tell you, Jailton took his big ass down again and did it again. He was in such a dominant position, the referee had to stand them up to give Volkov a fair chance. That's what that is. And you're going to argue that the dude who had to be let up won the fight. Does that seem like an argument you should win? That is literally what happened. And before you're like, he landed twice as many strikes. Who gives a fuck? While on his back, going slap, 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 slap. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I don't think the ref should be standing people up. This is a fist fight. Figure out how to get up. If you can't get up, that's your fucking problem, isn't it? This is your job. This is your actual job. Get up. Figure out how to get up. Get up. You can't do it. Figure it out. Like, how is that anybody else's problem? I get it's not a pleasurable viewing experience. This fight sucked. Don't confuse my enthusiasm for excitement. This was not a good fight. This fight sucked. It was boring. And if Jailton got the win, I would be saying it sucked. It was boring. But hey, Jailton got the win. So a couple of things here. First of all, that's my argument for Jailton won this fight. If you have to be let up to get a fair chance, you're not winning the fight. Nothing happened on the feet. You can't point to a moment where Volkov was like almost knocked him out and then Jailton had to desperately shoot a take. No, none of that happened. None of it. The only argument anybody's going to make is he landed more strikes and it's all about damage. What fucking damage? Hey, dummy. Only one of these men was bleeding profusely and it wasn't Jailton. Volkov was the one gushing blood. So I don't want to hear the damage argument. The strike volume argument is bullshit when you're on your back 99% of the time. Volkov attempted his own takedown, couldn't get it, and he had to be let up by the referee twice. That dude didn't win the fight. Let's move on. The second point I'm going to make, I understand the MMA karma. I get MMA karma. I get it. I understand it. I think Volkov beat Gane. And if you are in that camp, then you are in the exact same camp I'm in right now. Because Volkov beat Cyril Gane the exact same way Jailton just beat Volkov. So at least the two decisions were consistently bad. They both were bad for the same reasons. But I think Volkov beat Gane. I think Volkov probably should have been fighting for that title. Or at least not Gane. And we'll talk about the title in a minute. But with that being said, I do not agree with, well, he got screwed in his last decision, so he earned a screwing. Well, that's not fair. Now Jailton got screwed. Who's he going to screw next? That's not how this should work. And the last and final point I'll make is about Jailton. This dude's the best wrestler in the history of the heavyweight division. And I'm not talking accolades before you tell me that DC was an Olympian. Before you cite John Jones in his 2 heavyweight fights. Jailton is the only heavyweight I have ever seen take anybody he wants down at will. The only heavyweight I've ever seen it. He's taking everybody he wants down at will. He is the best pure wrestler. I'm not talking accolades or accomplishments, just actual wrestling abilities in the octagon. He is the best pure wrestler the heavyweight division in the UFC has ever seen. There's never been a better wrestler. What he is doing to other people in the modern era of MMA where everybody knows everything is nothing short of spectacular. And I wish he got the decision so we could see him. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the title now, but which we could see him in a title shot because yes, he's one-dimensional. Yes, his actually striking didn't look terrible. He just didn't do it enough. Yes, he's one-dimensional. Yes, he can be boring. Like, I get all the criticisms against him. But he is the most dominant wrestler this heavyweight division has ever seen. Then we had a very fun scrap. A very fun scrap between Umar and Mario Batista. This fight was spectacular. I loved it. This was a great fight. This was the only fight on the main card that was actually entertaining to watch. The first fight, 2-minute knockouts, not exactly like, whoa, that was exciting. I mean, it was cool to see the knockout, but this was a very competitive back and forth fight. Couple of takeaways. Mario Batista is way better than I thought he was. He deserves way more credit than he is going to get for this performance because people will forget. People will see the 30-27, and over time, they'll forget the fight. They won't rewatch it. They'll just see unanimous 30-27, and they'll say, Umar dominated Mario. He didn't. He did not. First of all, he almost had his ankle ripped off. He almost had his ankle ripped off early. Mario Batista had an unbelievable toe hold. Then the fact that Umar didn't tap speaks volumes to how tough he is. I would not be shocked if his ankle is shredded. He was limping after that. He was limping between rounds. He was limping out of the cage. He was limping after that. Like, it is bad. And in the next couple of days, we'll probably see pictures of imaging online to see how bad it actually is or is not. Not only did Mario Batista almost rip his foot off, he also had a pretty slick knee. And at the time, before the slow motion, looked like it dropped Umar pretty bad. It was kind of a more off-balance type situation, but he had a beautiful jump knee, landed clean. He also had an incredible sweep. And not a full-blown sweep, but he had a switch. Umar was on a takedown. Mario sat his hips out, got a switch. Mario went to hell and back in this fight. He fought to his ability. He did not quit. He didn't give up. He wasn't afraid of the wrestling. He wasn't afraid to let his hands go. And this is a fight where Umar won with wrestling. So we just saw Jailton lose with wrestling. Umar won with wrestling. And I'm not saying it's controversial because A, I think wrestling matters. And B, after he would get a takedown, he would work. Now, he wasn't landing wild elbows, but he would work. He would move. He would change positions. He would try to get to a more dominant position. He was always doing something. This was a great fight. These guys got after it. Mario Batista showed the world that he is a very, very good fighter. And going into this, on my other podcast, the show I filmed with former world champion Josh Thompson. There you go, Josh. See, I gave you your flowers, you fucking small dork. On that show, I said nobody wants to see Merab versus Mario. Nobody would want to see it. That's not a fight that moves the needle. Nobody's going to buy that pay-per-view. Nobody cares. But after watching these two go at it, let's say they gave Mario the nod, which I don't think he should have gotten the nod, but let's say they gave it to him. I would be excited versus him versus Merab. Because you know what? Mario didn't slow down. The cardio was there. We saw him win some grappling exchanges. We saw him win some striking exchanges. We saw this dude do a lot in this fight. It's like, you know what? That could be a really fun fight with Merab. So Mario Batista has a couple of wins that were not very appreciated. And now I finally appreciate him from a loss. That was great performance. Umar is who we thought he was. He's a little more human than we thought he was. Right? He almost had his toe ripped off. He got dropped. But he is who we thought he was. A very, very good high-level fighter. A great fight. I wish this was 5 rounds. This should have been a fight night main event. I wish this was 5 rounds. I don't know if it would have gone any differently at 5 rounds, but I do wish it was 5 full rounds. Then we had the co-main event of the evening. Couple of things. One, this subject, all right, listen, don't dog me for this. You can see the caption here says, I can see clearly now. Now, we all know Verna has eyes that face 2 eyes and they face 3 directions. We all know that. She came out, first of all, she knows it. Look at the tattoo on her arm. Look at her right bicep. Look at that tattoo. Look, they made that thing crooked-eyed. Okay, so she knows what her eyes are doing. She came out to, I can see clearly now. It's going to be night, bright, sunshiny days. I don't know. My buddy Justin came over and we were watching these fights together. He's the one who pointed that out and he was cracking up laughing. And I was like, what's so funny? He's like, dude, she came out to I can see clearly now. I don't know if she came out to that because of the irony of I can see clearly now. She very clearly has a good sense of humor with that crooked-eyed dog on her arm. Or if that was a song because of bright, and sunshiny days. And if it's for that, and not the I can see clearly now, the irony is amongst us. Here's my issue with this fight. It's exactly what I thought the fight would be, and I still didn't get the decision I thought we would get. Like, this is exactly what I thought the fight would be. I thought the striking would be relatively equal, and Verna would get a bunch of takedowns, And when she would get the takedown, she would be in control and there'd be no real danger. That's what I thought this would be. I thought Virna was going to win a decision. I thought she was going to win a decision before the fight happened. I thought she was going to win the decision when the fight was happening. I'm surprised she didn't win a decision. Now, this isn't the atrocity that I think the Jailton Almeida fight is, but I think Virna Jandiroba won this fight. I don't think this is a good decision. Because, again, the striking was relatively even. Obviously, Virna towards the end started to get a little banged up damage-wise. The striking was relatively even, but Virna had a bunch of takedowns, a bunch of control, and she was never in any real trouble. This is a 5-round fight. Now, Mackenzie had a couple of moments. She got her own takedown. I don't have the official stats in front of me, but if I had to estimate, and I'm not being sarcastic here, I think she attempted 116 takedowns and she got one. And I'm just my estimate based off of what I saw. She got one single takedown off 116 entries. She would get to the hips, beautiful, and then it would just fall apart. I have been railroading Mackenzie Dern for two things. One, the dumbest, fakest accent in the world. My buddy sitting next to me goes, "Where's she from?" Fucking Rhode Island. And then she moved to Arizona. She's as American as you get. Her name is Mackenzie from Rhode Island. Mackenzie. And if you watch that video on YouTube, the evolution of Mackenzie Dern's accent, she starts in high school. "Hi, my name's Mackenzie. I love grappling." And then towards the end of the video, she needs a translator in the UFC. A translator. She went from, "Hi, I'm Mackenzie," to needing a translator. Fakest, most ridiculous accent in the world. She has dialed it back. I think all the negative attention she has gotten for that ridiculous accent, she's undoing it. She's dialed it back. This is like, that uppity girl, that like went to Australia for a week on a family vacation and came back like, "Oh, shrimp on the barbie." She's like that, but with Portuguese. And I get it. She was young. She was thrown into this world. And I understand her father is from Brazil. I get it. And I understand that that's not the language they speak in the house. You know what? You fucking whiny bastards. Where is it? I also am raised by immigrants. I am an Italian citizen. This is my Italian citizenship passport. Do I talk like a fucking immigrant? I do not. Anyway, that's the first thing I've been railroading about. The second thing I've been railroading about is the fact that she is objectively one of the best grapplers this sport has ever seen, and she has no wrestling at all. None. I don't get it. I don't get it. How can you be that good on the ground and have no ability to get it there? I don't understand. Stop training jiu-jitsu. You're already better at it than everybody else. Stop. You're already better at it. Now what you should be doing is wrestling. So now you can control where the fight goes, how it gets there. You're losing the striking, guess what? Takedown. Now it's my world. That's what she should be doing. So my issue is she's never really worked on the takedown. She doesn't really have takedowns. And she's in this unfortunate situation where Virna Jandiroba's taking her down at will, and she's just on her back trying to survive. And she did survive. She got the decision. It's not an atrocity, not the worst decision in the world. But do you really look at this and say that's the UFC champion? Anybody with good takedowns and submission defense will beat her. Anybody with good takedowns and submission defense will beat her. I think Virna won because at least Virna can grind, but it's fine. Mackenzie Dern is our brand new world champion. I don't know who's next. We'll assess it when we get there. Then we had the unbelievably disappointing main event of the evening, and this rant can go a couple of different directions. This rant could go, Tom Aspinall is a quitter who was looking for a way out and found it. Or it could go, he got his eye poked. Why are people booing him? Right? It can go both of those directions. And I got to be honest with you, I felt all of those emotions. So if you don't know what happened, about how many minutes into this fight? 4.5 minutes into the fight. There were only 30 seconds left of the first round, and Tom Aspinall got double poked in the eye. But if you watched the 4.5 minutes leading up to that, Tom Aspinall was losing that round. He was losing that round. He had a very bloody nose. There was blood smeared all over his face. He was getting beat to the punch. He attempted one takedown. It was dog shit. It got defended instantly. Ciryl Gane was beating Tom Aspinall. He was beating him. Objectively. And before you argue anything else, I would love if you disagree with that statement. If you disagree, if they ended the fight at the 4.5-minute mark and they said, who won this fight? 90-something% of people would have said Ciryl Gane won that fight. All the people that screamed damage is the only thing that matters. Well, only one of these men was bloody. It was a good amount of blood. You could see it on his chest in this picture that came from his face. He was getting beat to the punch. He attempted a horrible takedown because he was getting jabbed up, and that takedown got stuffed with ease. So Tom Aspinall was losing this fight. And I'm not saying he was going to lose the fight. It's a 25-minute fight. There's a long road ahead. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is he was losing this fight. Tom Aspinall, somebody who has been superhuman, somebody who has just run through everybody, somebody who has been knocking everybody out cold in the first 2 minutes of every fight he's been in, was now 4.5 minutes into a fight that he was losing, and he gets poked in the eye. The eye poke was genuine. But at the time, his eye is shut. The fingers go like this across it. One closer to the nose, one on the outside. Didn't look pleasant. Didn't look that bad. Then Tom is standing there, still like this after he got poked. Then he was like, hey, eye, ref, eye. 30 seconds. The ref's like, oh, time, eye. And then he started hamming it up for the camera. And before you guys get your panties in a bunch, tell me what country you're from, because there's going to be a theme here. And remember, two things can be true at the same time. It can be true that the eye poke was bad and it hurt him. And it can also be true that he was hamming it up and ran with it. All right, let me play the side of he's a quitter. I'm not saying that. We're just going to play that side, then I'll play the other side. If we're playing the side that he's a quitter, this guy was losing this fight. He was bleeding. He had to attempt a takedown that got it was the worst takedown attempt of his career. It got him nowhere. He's getting dotted up. He gets poked in the eyes. He finally sees a way out. He told the referees within 40 seconds, I can't see. It was 40 seconds. You get 5 minutes. I can't see. Jason Herzog did everything in his power to get Tom Aspinall to shut the fuck up. Everything in his power was to get Tom, shut up, stupid. Stop saying you can't see. Tom couldn't stop. Tom could not stop saying he can't see. He just couldn't stop. I can't see. I can't see. He asked the lady for a megaphone so he could yell it through that. I can't see. He was begging to be let out of this fight. Begging to be let out of this fight. I can't see. I can't see. I can't see. Let's go back to hundreds of other fights we have seen in the UFC with way fewer implications than a title, where the fighter said, I'm fine. Blind as a fucking bat. I'm fine. I'm good. Anthony Smith would be a former UFC world champion off the damage he took from illegal move. Not accidental, illegal. Anthony Smith would have won the belt against John Jones. Won it. He would have been the champion. He said, I'm fine. He went on to lose, but he said, I'm fine, because he's not a quitter. He's not a pussy. We have seen that happen hundreds of times. Hundreds of times we have seen fighters not be quitters, not be pussies, continue to fight when they shouldn't have, because they literally can't see, because their nuts are literally destroyed, because their ankle's a mess, their knee is a mess. They don't quit. So that's the Tom Aspinall's a quitter side. It didn't look like the eye poke was that bad. Any opportunity he had, he made sure everybody knew, I can't see, I can't see. And he took the out. There was time on the clock. He didn't hit his 5. It's not as if he kept his fucking mouth shut, was working on it. It was 5 minutes later, and they're like, hey, you are out of time. I need a decision from you right now. That's not where we were. The doctor said, I have no concerns about his eye whatsoever. He's fine. And obviously the doctor can't feel or experience what Tom's experiencing. But the doctor looked at his eye and was like, yeah, that shit's fine. It's not bloody. It's not scratched. It doesn't look very irritated. That's fine. You're fine. He literally said to Jason Herzog, I have no concerns with Tom Aspinall's eye. But Tom, I can't see. Let's make t-shirts. If I'm playing the other side of it, as it went on and as my buddy and I sat there saying like, holy fuck, he just quit. He just quit. He was looking for a way out and he got it. They started to show the replay after replay in slow motion, zoomed in. And it's like, yeah, that did look like it sucked. The finger went in pretty good. It did look like it sucked. Nobody's doubting that it didn't suck. We have no idea if he could see or not. He was saying he couldn't see. The funniest part about all of it is me, my buddy, the commentating team, everybody on every replay was like, that left eye got it bad. He's holding the right. So if I'm playing the other side is he really can't see or he's compromised. And he should not, N-O-T, he should not risk his entire future and his well-being and his ability to earn $1 and support his future. He should not put all of that on the line just to look like a tough guy and not be called a quitter by some fat Guido in Texas. So if he really couldn't see, or if he really was compromised, it was an accidental eye poke. So nobody's faulting Ciryl Gane here. It was an accidental eye poke. And if Tom felt I can't continue, the foul that he just committed against me hurt me bad enough that I cannot continue at the best of my abilities, and I might lose this fight because I can't gauge distance and I can't see very well in this eye, then yeah, don't continue. It's crazy to continue. Last week when RDR quit on the stool, there was a fake Twitter account that tweeted, I had neurovirus, whatever. We all thought it was RDR for a good minute. But I saw that, and when I took the bait and I thought it was RDR, I was like, listen, if this is true, and he was battling neurovirus, and he's throwing up, and he's shitting his pants, he should not have fought. And I understand you don't want to pass up the payday, but now look what he did to his career. Now he's known as a quitter. Tom Aspinall probably did the right thing. If you are in camp, he couldn't see, he definitely did the right thing. Let's assume, I don't think Tom Aspinall is actually a pussy. I just played both sides for you. I'll tell you what I actually think happened. My genuine thoughts here are that Tom Aspinall was losing that. He did not like how things were going. He got an out and he took it. I think he got poked in the eye. I think it hurt a lot. And I'm sure his vision wasn't great in the moment, but he did nothing. He just kept covering it with the cloth. He at no point tried to open it up, walking around, didn't ask for water to flush it out. At no point did he try to actually fix the problem, and he could not wait to say, I can't see. So I do think he was losing the fight. Mentally, I think he was like, oh my God, this is his first fight in a year. Things were not going his way. He got fucking gouged in the eye, and I think he saw an out and he took it. Two things can be true. It could have been a bad eye poke, and he could have been hamming it up and quitting. I think that's what happened. I think he had an out and he took it. Do I think it was egregious and he made it up and his eye was 100%? No, of course not. I also think there's 50 other heavyweights on the roster that would have not taken that out. What this does to his stock and his popularity is going to be interesting because people will die hard defend him no matter what. People will absolutely abandon ship, call him a fraud no matter what. But what is very unfortunate, the real victim here is Ciryl Gane. I mean, no, he did the eye poke. If you just fucking had your hands closed. If Ciryl Gane didn't fight like this and fought like this, we wouldn't be in this situation. So you did that to yourself, you dumbass. Ciryl Gane did look very, very, very good. Now here's the problem. The problem here is that Tom Aspinall felt it. He was in there with them. He saw the movement. He got touched up. So now if they book this rematch, Ciryl Gane will be the favorite. Mark my words. Come back to this video. If they book this rematch, Ciryl will be the favorite, and I'm going to pick Tom. Because Tom Aspinall was in there with him. He felt it, and he's going to come in here like a fucking Nurmagomedov next time because he knows he can't hang in the striking. So he's going to Nurmagomedov next time. The one shot he took in this fight was dog shit. It was kind of out of desperation, but he is going to train only to shoot takedowns. That's all he's going to do. Let me know what you guys think, guys. That is my raw, unfiltered reaction 20 minutes after these fights just finished. Thank you so much for being here. Genuinely appreciate you guys. If you didn't know, we have an app. Download the app. It's 100% free. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store. Inside the app, you have access to all sorts of tools and insight and information to help you on fight night. If you like placing bets, you like placing DraftKings fantasy lineups, you like doing underdog or prize picks, we got a ton of tools. We have a data analyzer that analyzes data for you. We have a fight simulator. It simulates fights 100,000 times, gives you those outputs. We have a line movement tracker. So if you are a gambler, you can track the opening odds, the current odds, win probability, and the line movement for every fight. We have a prop hunter. It's just a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. We have an optimizer. This builds DraftKings and FanDuel fantasy lineups for you. We have a tape index for those of you who like to do your own research and watch tapes, do your own tape study. The index lines it all up for you, not just for this week's card, but the future as well. And all of that is available for these 4 fight cards. If you go to my website, wewantpicks.com, or if you download the app, We Want Picks in the App Store, it's $10 for a month. And in that month, you'll have access to everything I mentioned, a bunch of things I didn't mention for these 4 fight cards. Next week, we got Garcia and Onama. Then we got Randy Brown and the Bonfim brother. And then we have UFC 322, which is a massive fight card. And then we have UFC Qatar, which might dictate the next lightweight title challenger. I appreciate you guys being here. If you need this edge up for your bets and your picks and you want to support the boys, go to wewantpicks.com, become a member. It's freaking $10 a month. If not, like, subscribe, and do those things. Thank you for being here genuinely. And let me know what you thought of UFC 321. Was this card dog shit? Was it a good card? Was it a giant letdown? What were the highlights? I don't need to tell you to let me know how you felt about that main event. I'm positive that you will. Thank you for being here. Tomorrow morning, every Sunday morning, no matter what, the next card breakdown will be there. UFC Vegas 110 is ready to go.